Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. Thank you very much for being with us this morning. Today we are celebrating Dr. King's 94th birthday. You know that he would have been 94 today, actually on this coming Monday. It is time just passes away. But wonderful to see all of you this morning. We are really thankful to the Lord that there is a break, that there is no rain actually at this time. I was praying for that. With your best wishes and prayers, thank God that we have little break actually over here. Wonderful. And my sister Gail and I will be actually doing the MC work over here for all of you. But it is great to see all of you this morning. And we have a wonderful program and great speakers also. And also we have a wonderful dancers here right in front of me. Thank you. Let's give them. And we always welcome children from different schools who come and join us actually. It's a great honor to have them. And we have a lot of dignitaries and also great community activists also with us. So as a part of my duty, I'm going to request actually invocation by a friend of mine who is Reza. He is from the Islamic Cultural Center of Fresno. He is going to lead us with invocation. Reza, would you come here, please? Let us welcome Reza. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, greetings of peace, everyone. I start in my own tradition in the name of God, the most compassionate, the most merciful. I'm grateful to the Dr. Martin Luther King Unity Committee for bringing me today and allowing me to stand on this Yokut's land to share with you. As we kick off a weekend of honoring a great leader, a revolutionary, a radical. Yes, Dr. King was a radical. He was called a radical. He was seen as a threat. His words either fell on deaf ears or were called dangerous. And no, not just by a few or the authorities, but by the great masses, the many, almost everyone. And today we continue the propaganda war against him and his movement when we try to encapsulate him in just an I have a dream speech and forget what he said throughout the rest of his life. My invocation today is to invoke the spirit of his movement, to invoke the truth of who he was, to invoke the spirit of who we are and who we can be. Just over 3 years after he gave his I have a dream speech, King would tell an interviewer that the dream that he spoke of that day had turned into a nightmare, and that he had done a lot of soul searching and a lot of agonizing since that day, finding that his old optimism was a little superficial and he was in need of some solid realism. And in the months leading up to the I Have a Dream speech and the March on Washington, in his letter from Birmingham jail, Martin Luther King called out what he saw as the greatest threats to our liberation and freedom, and it wasn't extremism. It was by moderate liberals who were unwilling to stand for justice rather than order, and to stand for a negative peace, which is just the absence of conflict, rather than a positive peace, which was the presence of justice. This is who Dr. King was, and we shouldn't be illusioned into anything different. So I invoke the spirit of his struggle. He gave his everything, including his very life, to fight for everyone's equitable access to jobs with dignity where our bodies would not be commodified and we had the right to be represented. He gave his life to ensure equal access to voting free of repression or intimidation. He gave his life to end police brutality and the militarism of our state. He gave his life to educate every single one of us of the systemic and institutional barriers that hold back so many communities, particularly that of Black Americans. So I invoke the fire of Dr. King. In kicking off this weekend, honoring the life of this radical man and his movement, I ask you not to erase history, not to just share a quote, trying to paint him away that he wasn't true to who he was and what he fought for. We all know leaders and pundits and politicians this weekend will be doing just that. They're going to share a meme or a quote or a picture, and that same person is going to rally against unionizing workers or play linguistic gymnastics to historicize systems uphold white supremacy rather than acknowledging that they still exist today. Remember, while MLK and so many others gave their lives to uphold the democratic processes of this nation, there are political leaders today who hijack his quotes and then chalk off the terrorist attack on January 6th against our democracy as a tour or a rally at the Capitol. So, when you invoke King, when you raise his name, when you dare to align with his radical message, remember him for who he was. He was a man targeted as an enemy of the state. Why? Because he had the revolutionary audacity to believe that we all belong. So I invoke his revolutionary spirit. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Reza, for that very powerful speech. Now I'm going to request Gail. Actually, I don't think we introduced ourselves. I am Sue Kapoor. I have been with the committee since it was established in 1983. So I have this great honor to work with wonderful people like Gail and other members of the committee who are here. So I'm going to ask Gail actually to introduce our other speakers who will be participating today. Thank you, Gail. Let's welcome Gail.
Thank you, Dr. Kapoor, and thank you for all your work that you've done for the 39 years here serving the Martin Luther King Committee. I would like to take special thanks to our community partners today: Fresno Mayor Jerry Dyer, Fresno City Council members, Fresno County Superintendent of Schools, Fresno County Supervisors, Clovis Unified School District, Fresno Police Department, Clovis Police Department, and Highway Patrol. These are our main sponsors, and I'd like to acknowledge them and have everyone give them an applaud for all the work that they do. I must say, especially our law enforcement, we thank them for supporting Martin Luther King and our committee, which they diligently do and have always been there. Also, we would like to acknowledge ABC Channel 30, the Les Kimber family, and the Central Valley Urban Institute. The Martin Luther King community officers are myself, Chair, Secretary Dr. Jeff Hunt, Treasurer Eric Payne, and the Unity Committee members Terry Kimber Edwards, Aaron Ford Herrero, Summer Gaston Garris, James Lett III, and Sergeant CHP Mike Salas, George Rodriguez, Clovis Police Department, and John Sturdivant. Also, our committee who has helped us with staffing, B.T. Lewis, Community Liaison with the Mayor's Office. So thank you so much for our supporters and our helpers. We really appreciate that. Let's give them a hand. Thank you, Reza, once again for your words of inspiration this morning. Now it is my great honor to introduce Fresno Mayor Jerry Dyer. Mayor Dyer has always been a supporter of the Martin Luther King events, even when he was with the Fresno Police Department. He also initiated that the police department be here and support us during his time with the police department. Mayor Dyer. Thank you.
Thank you, Gil, very, very much. And I want to say a special thank to the Martin Luther King Committee. Every year they do an incredible job, not only on the Garlanding event, but so many other events that we have throughout our community. But it is an honor for me to be able to be here today to speak as we remember and as we commemorate the late and the great Dr. Martin Luther King. Dr. Martin Luther King was a man who was referred to having a tremendous vision, a man with incredible courage, and most importantly, in my view, a man of strong faith. He was courageous, and courageous visionary men like Dr. King are rare. In fact, they come along once in a lifetime. And that is the very reason why they are remembered forever. That is why people gather across our nation today and throughout the coming week to honor and to commemorate and celebrate a great man. There has never been a president in the United States in history who has been remembered, revered, and celebrated like Dr. Martin Luther King, and I believe that says so much about his legacy. And it's all because of a dream. Dr. Martin Luther King had a dream as to what America should look like. He dreamed of a day when little black boys and black girls would be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. A dream of unity. Unity is exactly what the One Fresno vision is to me. That people of all races, all religions, and every political party would work together side by side for the common good of all. To have an inclusive, prosperous, beautiful city where people take pride in their neighborhood and their community. For every child to have an opportunity for the same education, the same health care, and the same life expectancy. Together we can achieve that vision and fulfill the dream that Dr. Martin Luther King had for all the people, not just some of the people. But in order to achieve this, we must first set aside our differences. We must set aside our pride. And I am committed to doing that as the mayor of this city. And I trust that all of you are committed as well. We will always remember Dr. Martin Luther King, but he was a man of great courage, great vision, and great faith. God bless you.
Thank you, Mayor Dyer, and thank you for your words this morning. We appreciate that. At this time, I would like to introduce my daughter. She's the principal at Martin Luther King Elementary School, Summer Gaston Garris, and she will introduce a few of her students that will be saying a few words.
All right, thank you very much. I am the proud principal at King Elementary School in Fresno Unified School District, and I'd like to really thank Fresno Unified School District for always supporting, making sure the students are here. The students are here because Fresno Unified provides the buses for the kids to get here. They've always supported that. It started with a dear friend of mine, Holland Locker. We were driving kids here to this ceremony in cars. And he said, "Why are you doing that?" I said, "Well, I don't know what else to do." And he said, "We're getting buses," and there have been buses every year since. So thank you, Fresno Unified School District. So we have some student guest speakers from King Elementary School. If you could walk forward, they're going to be with their BSU advisor, Mrs. Washington, and they're going to be talking a little bit about the late Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. Okay, we have Kylie's Black. She is in the 4th grade at King Elementary School, and she's going to be reading for you.
Good morning, my name is Kylie. Today I'll be reading about Martin Luther King. Humble beginnings. Martin Luther King Jr. was born on January 15, 1929 in Atlanta, Georgia. His birth name was Michael King, like his father who later chose to change it in honor of German reformer Martin Luther. King was the middle child of 3 siblings. King attended Booker T. Washington High School and became known for his public speaking ability as a member of his school debate team. At the age of 13, he became the youngest assistant manager of newspaper station of the Atlanta Journal.
Next, we have Paige. She's another 4th grader.
My name is Paige, and I will be reading religious scholarship, or whatever it's called. At the age of 15, King went on to Morehouse College, a prestigious, historically black college in Atlanta. At the age of 18, King decided to join a ministry. He thought that the church offered the best way for him to answer an inner urge to serve humanity. After graduation in 1948, he enrolled into Crozer Theology Seminary in Chester, Pennsylvania. On June 18, 1945, King married Coretta Scott, and together they would have 4 children.
All right. Soraya.
Good morning. My name is Soraya Brown. Who was Martin Luther King Jr.? Martin Luther King Jr. taught that people should use peaceful protests to advise. What they want a peaceful protest is when people protest without violence.
All right. Next.
Hi, I'm Evelyn Gutierrez.
Go ahead, Evelyn. Read it.
Community and equality. Martin Luther King Jr. was an activist. I can't.
All right, I'll read it for you. Martin Luther King Jr. was an activist who started a tradition of community participation. An activist is someone who acts to bring positive change. She has practiced this and practiced this. She knew it. All right, you ready, Mariah?
Good morning. My name is Mariah Palacios, and today I'll be reading Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy. Martin Luther King Jr. was shot and killed on April 4th, 1968, while standing on the second-floor balcony of his motel. King will always be remembered as one of the greatest civil rights activists of the 20th century. On the next page, review the key achievements of King's life.
All right, so here is my friend Shanice. Are you ready?
Hi, my name is Shanice, and today I'm going to be reading Martin Luther King Jr. Day. The holiday was proposed in 1968 after Martin Luther King Jr. died. It did not become a national holiday until 1983. Many states refused to observe the holiday. Today, all states observe the holiday and its message of equality and community participation.
And Ms. Washington, I want to thank you for leading our students we have a Black Student Union at King Elementary School. It's welcome to all students, and she has helped supervise these kids. She's taken them on activities and has taught them their history, and thank you. You're welcome. All right.
Thank you, Summer. Fresno Unified has always supported our Martin Luther King events, and we really appreciate that. So thank you, Superintendent Nelson. Now, at this time, I would like to ask Congressman Jim Costa to come forward and say a few words. We are always honored when Congressman Costa attends and participates with our Martin Luther King events. He has supported us for many years, and we do appreciate the work that he does. Congressman
Costa. Thank you, Gail, and thank the Dr. Martin Luther King Committee for organizing not only today's events, but the events over the weekend. For my friends and colleagues behind me, and for all of you gathered here. Today is, I think, an important day, but this entire week, as we celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King and his legacy, that we do so because we give thanks. We give thanks. It is fitting and appropriate that we gather here today. And I think for my colleagues, I can say that we are excited, not that you're all here and the gatherings that we'll have throughout the next 4 days, but the students, young people, all of you here. I hope you know and understand the importance and the significance of recognizing the contributions that Dr. Martin Luther King made to not just our country, but to the world. This person, this incredible human being, was a leader, was a visionary, was a person who had aspirations for what the American dream is really all about. For the students here, you probably know the Pledge of Allegiance, right? Every day at school, you begin the morning by saying, I pledge allegiance to the flag, to the United States of America. And we say, in order to form a more perfect union. Think about those words, in order to form a more perfect union. Now that is very aspirational because perfection, we know, is hardly ever achieved. But what a great phrase that is for all Americans to reflect upon, to aspire to become a more perfect union. And we have words in our Constitution that makes it very clear that we protect inalienable rights. Those are rights that we all have as people. Rights for freedom of speech, rights to for religious freedom, rights for to gather, rights that are the fundamental part of our democracy. And Dr. King came along, and as you study him, during a time in America when so many in our country were not able to have those rights to vote, those rights to assemble and to gather, the basic rights that many of us tend to take for granted today. And so we celebrate this because those were hard earned. In the 1950s and the 1960s, Dr. King led a group of leaders that took great risks to their own personal life. Many people fighting for civil rights during that time lost their lives. Dr. King lost his life in 1968, trying to ensure that all Americans would have these rights that we cherish, that are so critical to what America is all about. So as I close, for all of us, and for the students here, think about what this means today. Think about what Dr. King was able to do, to lead a movement in our country, to try to aspire to achieve a more perfect union for all Americans so that we could all prosper and enjoy what we call the American dream. He was a teacher. He was a minister, a man of faith, a man of God. And he had so many important lessons that he taught us and goals to achieve. And while we're not there yet, every day we aspire to follow the teachings and the dreams of Dr. King. Perhaps one of my favorite ones in my closing, he said, and I quote, "I hope we live in America someday where people will be judged, where we will be judged by the content of our character." Think about that, the content of our character, and not the color of our skin, which is what so much of racial prejudice is all about, not only in America, but around the world. So let's work together in the divisions that we have in our country to remember the wise words of Dr. King, that we can live in America where we can all be judged by the content of our character and not the color of our skin. God bless. Let's celebrate together Dr. King, and let's learn and continue to follow the wisdom of his words. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Congressman Costa. We appreciate you and support you in the work that you do for Fresno and our country. So thank you for being there to represent us in Washington. Let's have a hand. Okay, at this time, Fresno City elected officials have supported the Martin Luther King Committee for the past 39 years. And our council members are always there to support and help us. Our mayor's office is always there to support us. I would like to ask to come forward Council Member Nelson Esparza, who will say a few words on behalf of the City Council.
Thank you, Gail. On behalf of the entire Fresno City Council, I want to wish everyone a happy Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Weekend. I want to thank the committee for its tireless and around-the-clock and around really year-round work that goes into not only this event, but kicking off the entire slate of events for the weekend to celebrate the life of the great Reverend. Usually, when this time of year comes around and we attend the events, the series of events, and we reflect, it's an opportunity to look back at the past on the life, the revered life of Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. But I think what we must do is do that in a very intentional way. He certainly is somebody whose his own life changed the course of countless lives and changed the course of the history of our country. But it's an opportunity here this weekend, as it is every year, to reflect and begin to look forward at what we will do, what we will bring forward, what we will leave behind as leaders today here in our community, here in our state, here in our country and the world, very much at large. An opportunity for all of us in elected office to reflect upon our votes and reach deep down and do our soul searching, certainly in the same way that the great Reverend did. And for those who are not in elected office and have a great impact on our communities as well, particularly here in Fresno. And so I wish everyone a happy MLK weekend. With that in mind, that while we will reflect on the past, value the past, celebrate the life of the Reverend, we will do so with the intention of doing better as we move forward, doing better for our community, for the future, for our children. Thank you.
All right, at this time, I'd like to welcome Thomas Elementary School. We have Miss Southern, and we also have Miss Tatum, the other Miss Tatum that works at Thomas Elementary. We're expecting Kirk Elementary as well with the other Miss Tatum. It is truly a family affair. We appreciate the Tatums in Fresno Unified School District. And so I'm going to go ahead and hand the mic to Miss Southern, and she's going to introduce Thomas Elementary.
Good afternoon, everyone. Like Ms. Summer said, I am Ms. Southern, and I am a co-advisor with Ms. Tatum, Tamika Tatum, and we just want to thank everyone that made this event possible. Our BSU at Thomas Elementary has been active for 5 years. We have third through sixth grade, and currently this year we have 30 students, so everyone wasn't able to make it today, but we are really excited. Our children are the future, and the future starts right now, right? And so we want to continue to invest in them and give them opportunities. And so they're going to be doing the Student Creed by Dr. Chike Akua, followed by a poem by Keystone Creations. We hope you enjoy. Thank you.
Dr. was the
Even though he is gone, Dr. King Jr. lives on. Even though he is gone, Dr. King Jr. lives on.
Thank you so much. Doesn't this make you hopeful for our future? It's wonderful. I can retire now, right? All right, we are getting ready to have King Elementary's King African Dancers led by Miss Mona Tatum, the other Tatum.
Sorry, y'all. Boy, you guys look beautiful. You know what I'm going to say. Are you ready to celebrate? No? You must be. Come on now. I need more claps than that. Are we ready to celebrate? Come on. Martin Luther King may not be with us here physically, but he's always in our spirit. So we got to keep things going like Congressman Costa, Senator Costa, Congressman. I call him all of it, too. He's been around a long time. We're so glad to be here, and I know Ms. Gaston Hart has to be just bubbling over, because each year it's just summer gassing the principal and Gail. They got to be bubbling over, because each year it just gets better and better. And I'm so proud of my daughters, and from Thomas and Miss Southern, my daughter at Kirk. She's not here, but the great Kirk. So I'm just, come on, clap it up. I love it. This is good. So we are hopeful. I usually have y'all dance. I may give you a little pass today. But I do want you to stand up and celebrate with us. Can you do that, please? Please, I want to see the children standing up. I want to see everybody standing up. If you want to do your own thing, do your thing. Okay? We love you.
In the beginning was the beat, and the beat was the rhythm of God, and the rhythm of God is the harmony of humanity, and where there is harmony, there is peace. As the mighty Nile flows from the south at Lake Victoria, where Eve is called Lucy, northward to Egypt, where Moses went down to the get down. From the south to the north, yeah, moving up the right way. We are all that. And across the history of this vast continent of countries, the drum speaks. We are the drum. We are the drum. We are the drum. Africa to America. We are the drum.
One of the things plaguing our generation is people trying to figure out who they are. This is a song to our generation. We bear the name of the Father, and in him we find our identity.
Thank you, Ms. Tatum, and thank you to the King Dancers. We always appreciate their support and the work that they do at King Elementary. Thank you, Principal Summergast and Garris, for all your work that you do. And our program will continue. I would like to introduce one of our committee members who will introduce our guest speaker. After our guest speaker, we will be doing the garlanding for the flowers on the Martin Luther King statue. So we will be passing flowers out to the children while our speaker is speaking. So at this time, I would like to introduce Dr. Jeff Hunt.
Good afternoon. I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Michelle Kofer. Dr. Michelle Kofer has been a Fresno County educator for 32 years and in June 2022 was elected as the Fresno County Superintendent of Schools for a term that began January 3rd, 2023. Dr. Kofer infuses the principles of equity, inclusion, respect, and civility in all she does, not only with FCSS, but in her many avenues of community partnerships, service, and volunteerism. Together with the accomplished team of professionals at FCSS, she strives to make sure we provide exceptional services and resources to all our schools for all students. And now, please help me welcome Dr. Michelle Kofer.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. It's afternoon now. And can I just be the first to say congratulations to Thomas and King Elementary Schools. One more big round of applause for our amazing students, scholars, and artists in the group here. It's such a privilege to be here with you today. I am Michelle Kofer. I am the Fresno County Superintendent of Schools, and I'm so pleased to be with all of you today. It's an honor to be here on the 39th celebration of Fresno's commitment to honoring and remember Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy, and most importantly, his commitment. At a time when a lot of adults were talking, Dr. King reminded us regularly that everything we were doing was to raise up and lift up and make the world better for our children. He reminded us of that regularly. And I want to remind each of us here that on October 16th in 1967, in a very humble way, while he was working so hard to change the world, he took time to go to a middle school and speak to young people about the importance of the theme for this weekend's celebration, Let Freedom Ring, with dignity, with learning, with love, and with justice. He asked each of those children to think about their own life and to consider their life's blueprint and envision a future that included dignity, learning, love, and justice. At our office, we stand for each and every one of you young people here today. That's what we do every single day in the building right over there. We think carefully about our special education kiddos. We think about our All for Youth students and those who need mental health services. We are embedded and indebted and devoted to equity and student empowerment so that our students have access to every opportunity to be successful in school and in life. We have recognized that you have to see it to be it sometimes. And so we have a Teacher of Color pipeline partnership with Fresno State and Central Unified School District. And one of the things we're most proud of is that we recognize that at the end of high school, a student may choose college or career. And so we have a career technical education school as well. We want to honor a student's choice at that point in their life. As the new Fresno County Superintendent of Schools, I pledge to you, all of our parents here, I honor and lift up our teachers and our educators, and I pledge to each of you young people here today to work hard to be a champion for each of you. My vision for the future is to unite individuals and communities in actions to demonstrate their commitment to our children, both individually and collectively as a community, to achieve the optimal education and quality of life, because that's what that's all about. You go through school so that you can be healthy, happy, and successful in life. Every student, no matter who they are or where they're from, will be supported to thrive and contribute to our interconnected world. These are the goals that unify all of us. Kiddos, take a look at the adults around you, all around you. This is our village. All of them up here, all of them behind you, especially your teachers and your principals. Every single one of us are here to support you and make sure you're healthy, happy, well-educated, and ready for life. As we all go forward today and dedicate each moment thereafter to honoring the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s words and deeds in all we do to better ourselves, to better our community, on behalf of our children and families, because it is only through this unity that our ideal world can be achieved. Thank you all, and many blessings to you all.
Thank you, Dr. Kofer, for all the work that you are doing. Thank you for taking that brave step and running for that election. And we're so happy that you're there to represent our students. Thank you. Okay, so now comes the time that everybody loves. We're going to start the garlanding. Dr. Kapoor, I will ask you to step forward to in front of the bust.
We are going to have the garlanding ceremony, which is a very important part of our culture. We honor a great dignitary, a great leader, with our love and affection by offering flowers and a garland. This is what we are going to do. Gail is going to announce the people who will join us, and we will help actually to hold the garland. So please wait for us, and with deep respect for Dr. King, please be very peaceful in offering your flowers to Dr. King. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Kapoor. So we would like to go ahead, and we have the garlanding here in front of the bust, and call the mayor. If Mayor Dyer, you could come forward. Our city council, Fresno City Council members come forward. Clovis City Council members. Any other elected officials, our county supervisors, if you could please come forward. Our new assembly members that's represented, Congressman Costa. Congressman Costa, if you could stand beside Mayor Dyer. And then we would like to have our CHP representatives, all of our law enforcement, our Fresno Chief of Police. Fresno's, everybody up there? I'm looking to see, is everybody up there? And then we will organize the students. Ms. Tatum and Summer, if you could please organize the students to go forward.
I want to thank everybody for coming out today. If you can, let's just pause for a minute and honor our Creator for this wonderful celebration on today and those things we have to come. Dear God, we are grateful for this time together. We thank you, God, for Dr. King and the legacy that he left our nation and the world. God, we pray that righteousness and justice will run down like water and a mighty stream. God, bless our children, bless our representatives, bless all of those that are here today, God, with equity and justice as we move forward in the life that you have given us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.